Hey everyone, welcome to Ronin's Den podcast. I am the Dragon X. This is Duality. We do this every week or at least 4 times a month. Tonight we are doing something a little different. We did a reaction video in the past where we reacted to Ben Robbins' follow-up to his comments. We're not going to go into that. Today we're going to read some Reddit posts and give our thoughts and our opinions. And I believe Duality, you have the first one. Let's go.
Yeah, so this one's going to definitely get some thinkings going. This is from the DM Academy on Reddit. The user is Sir Toad the Knight, and they're asking for help to kill a level 20 character immediately. And the comment reads, or the post reads, so we are in our second long campaign. First went from level 1 to 20, and it took 2 years. The second is set 150 years into the future, and the only surviving PC from the first one is the druid due to the slow aging, who is now an NPC. The current players will be roughly level 14 when the big bad will kill the level 20 druid, but the party, 5 of them, are going to try to stop the BBEG. I should mention that the party are all extremely min-maxed, so I need a powerful way to quickly kill off the old druid. And they have over 100 hit points, so power word kill won't work. Any help? And they do have a mark here that says, to be clear, the druid was a PC from the previous campaign, and the players given permission for them to be killed. Thanks for all the informative advice.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, so is he asking how to kill the players or how to kill the druid, number one?
The level 20 druid. They're looking for a way to get rid of that level 20 druid. I can do this very easily.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so this is for 5th edition, the question. 2nd edition had a lot more deadly combat to it. 5th edition tries to balance its combat. 2nd never did. It was always up to the players to determine whether or not they're going to stay in the combat, and a good DM would be able to eyeball these things to make them reasonable, and would also provide avenues for retreat if things got a little too much for the players, because there was no such thing as challenge rating. And it had some of the most gnarly creatures and monsters out of any edition I've ever seen. One of them was in the original printing of the Deities and Demigods book, which I actually have the 2nd printing on my shelf. I'll show you that in a minute. Actually, let me grab that book. You'll like this.
We're getting a history lesson.
History lesson. All right, it's this book, Deities and Demigods. Like, this thing is ancient.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's one of my favorite books on my shelf. But in the first printing, there were stats for Elric of Melonbonnet. And I know I just mispronounced that Melonbonnet part wrong.
Melniboné.
Yeah. And he was this... Elric. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know Elric.
You know Elric. Okay. So the stats for Elric, along with Stormbringer and Mournblade, were in that book. And the way Stormbringer functioned was it was I want to say it was a +5 greatsword, so +5 to hit and damage. It was intelligent, chaotic evil, communicated telepathically. You could throw it and it would fly and fight on its own and return to the hand. But its most devastating thing was when it hit, you rolled the percentile die and it was a 50% chance of either of these two effects happening. So this always happened. The target either lost half of their experience levels immediately, so you had to reduce their hit points and everything to match up, or they lost all of their experience levels immediately. Now, if they lost all of their experience points, all their experience levels, they died. Because if you went down this below level 1, character's dead. Over. They got rid of energy drain. I can't remember. I want to say in 4th.
I think it was 4th, because energy drain existed in 3 or 3.5.
Yeah.
Because it existed in Pathfinder, which was 3.75.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Now, when you kill somebody with that sword, just like in the book, they can't be resurrected, reincarnated, wish back into existence, they're dead and gone forever. Forever.
Well, fuck.
Yeah. So, like, I could kill them off in a hurry, but, and it'll be 1 or 2 hits. Like, you have a 50% chance. It can one-shot any character. I just don't know if players could tolerate that today.
I don't think that fits into the game today, sadly. But I think some of the advice I'd give to this person is, if you've got a party of 5 and a level 20 druid, and you're throwing 1 enemy at them, you're never going to kill them. Never. The action economy, the bounded accuracy of 5e, the players are never going to lose that fight.
No.
You've got to have multiple enemies, multiple things happening, environmental effects. You've got to do something above and beyond, right? And honestly, power word kill is still in effect, buddy. All you gotta do is get that druid to 100 health and power word kill it. Or hopefully maybe it decides it's gonna turn into a rat and try to run away. Power word kill the rat. It has less than 100 health, the druid's dead. Now, there's some controversy there, because how does that work? Because it says when they drop to 0 health, they revert back to their normal form and the excess goes. But power word kill does not say it drops you to 0 health. You don't get death saves or anything like that. You're just dead. So it is in play. But honestly, yeah, if you go to older editions, like you said, there are a lot of save or suck spells, things like that, which I think in a big, bad, evil guy fight is okay to bring out on occasion. I don't think you should do it every time, but if you've been playing for 2 years and your guys are level 20, or your guys and gals, your players are level 20, I think a nasty NPC BBEG having 1 spell like that, maybe if it's only going to hurt one of the players, I'm okay with it, personally.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that are probably not going to be, but
I think either way, the first thing they're going to have to do, and it sounds like they're already there, is just not, like, get over that urge to want to save the character. A lot of people, even if they're like, oh, I'm gonna take this character out, NPC or PC, there's that moment of hesitation where they're like, well, no, I don't really want to do that. I shouldn't do that. Now, if you made the decision, you're gonna have to go big and make it memorable.
Also, if you really want that NPC dead, it's a 20th level BBEG, like an end game boss. Who's to say they don't have the 11th level power word destruction that you only need 200 or less? Like, you can throw nasty stuff like that if you know that your players are going to be okay with it, and that comes back to knowing your players. But ultimately, there are ways to do it. It's just going to be complicated in 5e.
Yeah, which is why I like to be old.
Now, a game like Legends of Kralis, I'm sure you could easily kill your player. But anyway. All right, I got one.
Yeah.
Let's go with this one because it's in our Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you can comment on this, and after hearing our nonsense, would you permanently allow your party to split and still keep the game going? Pretty much what it says in the header. My player's party may split up permanently due to in-character grievances and moral, ethical, ideological differences between characters. As the GM, I knew these differences existed when I permitted the characters, but was hoping that after generating game-driving conflict, they may develop into a direction where they are able to coexist better inside the party. Unfortunately, it is now looking that one member will break off from the party for good. I thought that if the party cannot stay together, the only real option I'd consider is making one player roll a new character that's willing to cooperate with the party. But one of my players has expressed that if they were running the game, they'd simply run our sessions as switching between the point of view of the party and the point of view of the character, because they, that player, in essence, want to give players freedom of choice. Now, I'm left wondering if I'm the weird one restricting player agency by saying I won't run 2 campaigns in one session.
First of all, that has nothing to do with player agency.
No, that's
Like,
not player agency.
that is nothing. That is just, that's grabbing a buzzword that gets the community all riled up and dropping it somewhere where it doesn't belong to get the community all riled up. The ask. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
So, me personally, I would, if you knew that your characters in the game weren't going to get along, I feel like you've already failed. And I know that's going to be controversial, but if you know that there's a character and a character that are not going to get along based on backstory, ideological differences, you need to, before the game even starts, pull those 2 players in and say, hey, listen, there might be conflict. There might be a problem here. If there is a problem, one of your characters is probably going to want to leave. If that character leaves, I don't have time to run 2 games. You're going to have to make a new character, or you're going to have to find a reason for your characters to get along. That's not my job. That is your job. You need to figure out why your characters get along. Now, if they did get along and there's a story event that divides them apart, if I had time to run a second game, I might run a second game for that person, right? But all in all, the person that's leaving, that character's done. Their story's ended. Their story ended with them leaving the party. It's time to make a new character and play that character. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, the ask to run 2 campaigns at the same time is completely unreasonable. It's not something I would ever do. And if that person says that they're willing to run 2 campaigns at the same time, especially for a single character, because if I was hearing that right, only one character has the problem and is leaving. The rest of the party's sticking together. And like you said, it's not the DM's job to give these people a reason to be together as a party. You can blame that on D&D as a system, but this one is not a system issue. This is very obviously a personality issue. Some systems, like Monster of the Week, they give you a good like party cohesion, like, you know, things to bring you together. The Crypt is Opened has amazing
fantastic
things.
One.
Fantastic for, you know, why is your party together? Why should they stay together?
Did you see the one in Kralis? Kralis even has a really good one in the DM. I believe it's in the DMG.
It's in the DMG. It's a series of questions.
GMG.
GMG. It's like a series of questions you ask your players to figure out, you know, what they're going to be doing with it. So, it's an unreasonable ask. I would tell that person, look, if you want to keep playing, time to roll up a new character. Or you guys need to figure out a way to get that character back with the party. I'm not running 2 games.
Yeah. And like the fact that it's asking the DM not to play 2 separate games, but to play 2 separate storylines within the same session?
Yeah.
Well, no.
1, that's not fair to the DM, but 2, what about the other players? Like, if you have a 4-hour session, 2 hours with one group, 2 hours with the single player, how are you going to divide that time up where you don't have people getting bored and flipping through their phone on TikTok because they don't have anything to do?
Or like, it's even the fact of like you said, people getting bored. It's not gonna work.
No.
I don't think. So I had a game once where I had a player that through some shenanigans got sent to another plane of existence, right? The character was separated by my story. So I ended up running some one-on-one sessions with him separately until he was able to get back to the party or the party got to him, which that was me. That was my decision as the DM.
Yeah.
The story dictated that. It wasn't there's a problem here with players. I'm going off on my own and you're going to DM for me. Nah, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah. Now, I had something where something like this story happened during a Rifts game. There were 4 of us, and there was this one guy. We got to a certain part of the story, and it said, hey, basically the option was to walk through this portal to get to this dungeon to continue the story. And this guy's like, no, I don't feel like doing that. I just kind of want to hang out here at the tower and, like, craft stuff. And we're like, okay, but the portal's going to close in, like, 30 seconds, and it doesn't open for another 5 years. And he's like, yeah, well, I just don't feel like doing that, so, what can you do for my character while you guys go do that? And it was Changeling, the DM, and he's like, nothing. You could either go through the portal with the rest of the party, or you can sign out of Discord because your story is over. You are now the crazy guy who lives in this tower crafting things.
And I think I wouldn't say you can sign out of Discord. It would be like, hey, there's 4 players. 3 of the players want to do this dungeon.
Yeah.
That's what I have prepared. I don't have anything for you right now.
I will say,
you can make.
I will say though, they were very uncooperative for a couple sessions leading up to this. So it was kind of like the perfect opportunity to be like, do you want to be here to play the game, or do you not want to be here to play the game with that specific player in that specific instance?
Okay.
I hear where you're coming from, but I did want to get that out there. Like, this wasn't him being mean just to be mean. Like, this guy had been causing issues at the table for like 3 sessions at this point.
All right. How many did you have open? You only had 2, right?
I only had 2.
All right. We're going to do another one because it's another one from our Discord right now. Do I owe my players anything? I have had a 5e group playing on Discord and Roll20 for about 4 years now. I've had fun, and they've said that they've had fun. For various reasons, I'm done with 5e. I don't blame him.
Neither do I.
And am planning on switching to OSE, which is OSR, OSE, like Morkborg style.
Old school essentials.
But we are in the middle of a campaign. Most of my players started playing with 5e, so they have no experience with other systems. My general plan is to try and finish the campaign. There is an end goal by the end of the year, and then cut over to OSE in January.
Okay.
I am planning on bringing this up to the group soon, but my general feeling is that they will mostly not be interested in switching. Character death and the loss of all the shiny level up powers would not make them happy. I feel bad for changing direction halfway through a big campaign, but likewise, I honestly hate 5e more every time I play it. Do I owe it to my players to finish, or does my plan sound fair enough? Should I just discuss it with them and make the break sooner?
I think they are either one. They've given plenty of notice with what they're going to do and what they want to do and what they intend to do. And if they're really not having that much fun and they hate it more and more every time, that is going to rub off on the game experience. So it might be better just to cut it early. That could go either way with that one on those 2 answers, in my opinion. But
so yeah, I'm kind of in the thing where, like, if you're willing to go till the end, like, I wouldn't even say to the end of the campaign, at least try to finish the arc.
Yeah.
I mean, like, say, hey guys, this is going to be the last arc. I know we planned on going longer. I don't want to run 5e anymore. I want to do this other system. And then if they are combative, they don't want to do it, then you could pull the old, well, guys, I'm not running 5e. If you want to play 5e, one of you is going to have to run it. If not, this is the game I'm going to run. But I feel like if you at least get to the end of the arc, not just, I don't approve of the abrupt. Last week we were playing, you gave them no indicator that you weren't happy.
Yeah.
Then the next week you're like, hey, we're switching to Morkborg because I hate 5e.
But this guy
I would be a
sounds like
little
he's been telling them, like, I ain't happy running this. This is all I'm willing to do. So, yeah.
So I think, I don't think you're the asshole for doing that. I don't think either way is wrong. As long as you're not springing it on them like, hey, next week I'm not running 5e, we're playing this, not giving them any heads up. I think you got to at least try to get to the end of the arc if you can.
Yeah.
If you can't, that's fine. I understand. But I think, do you owe it to your players? No, but it is kind of a common courtesy.
I think they owe them the conversation that it sounds like they've already had. Now, I want to say something that might be a little controversial myself, and that is, if your friends aren't willing to play another game with you to make you happy after you've been running a game that doesn't make you happy for a long time, that would make them the assholes. Yeah, that would make them the assholes, not the DM.
Like even if it's just for like a small arc. Hey, guys, for the next month or two, can we try this game? I feel like if you have good friends, they're gonna do it. Like, and I don't think they're good friends if they don't. I know I got blasted on TikTok when I said that at one point. They're like, no, you're the asshole for making them switch when this is what they wanted. Well, I'm the one running the game. Like,
well,
I kind of dictate what we play.
God, I mean, there are people on that app, and I don't want to piss people on that app off. I really don't. I love you guys. You're great. But there are some people on that app that sometimes act like the DM is their employee, and that the player's happiness and the player's agency and everything player takes the forefront, and the DM's just there to facilitate their needs and desires. And it's not a lot of people. It's just, they tend to be pretty loud in the comments section. But yeah, no, if they're your friends, they'll play a different game with you, which is what I love about our server, right? Over in Ronin's Den, we could be like, hey, I don't want to play D&D. I would like to run a game of, like Changeling's doing now, Vampire, or like I'm doing with writing that Legends of Kralis game that I'm going to be running soon. And people are just like, yeah, I never played. I'll play a session. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but I'll try it out. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Those are good people.
And it's like we're doing with the one-shots. We're recording it. We're giving people an opportunity to say, hey, I like that. Maybe we should play more of that. It's worth it to try other systems. Yeah. And even if you're a 5e person, sometimes playing another system for a couple sessions might teach you something you can use in your 5e game. Like this tribalism really needs to stop.
One of the rules that I taught to a 5e player or DM a couple years back, this is a few years ago actually, was they were complaining about skill tests. Like, they don't want a simple pass-fail skill test. They think it should take time and what to do if there's failures, but they want to have the players succeed and be able to retake the test. So I was like, all right, have you ever played Shadowrun? And the guy was like, no, I haven't. So I explained the extended test, which is just, you can try the test as many times as you want. It would be a skill check in D&D, but each time you do it, X amount of time will have elapsed in the game world. So it'll take you 5 minutes on each attempt, for instance. And in order to be successful, you need 5 attempts. So a minimum of 25 minutes to be successful in that example. And that's something they lifted. They changed it up a little bit, brought it into their D&D game. So now for certain chase scenes or like complicated artificer stuff, instead of just a single check, it's multiple checks. And no matter what, they'll eventually succeed. It's just, how long is it going to take them to succeed?
Yeah. All right. Read your next one.
Okay.
I think we answered that one sufficiently.
Yeah. My next one is from RPG Horror Stories. Downtown Debate 8075 writes, and this one's a doozy. The title is Player Threw Coffee on the DM Over an Argument. We have been playing for 3 months now. The players are me and 3 other people, so a party of 4. One of them is Sarah. I'm hoping that's not their real name. She is playing a Dex fighter while I am a paladin. When she found out that I am playing a paladin, she said how it's the lamest class and that only incels play paladins. I still don't know what that means, or if she was even being serious when she says this. There are people that don't know what that means?
Apparently.
Okay, that's an insult. If you don't know what that means, that's a pretty big fucking insult.
Yeah, but I'm almost positive. Well, I don't know. Let's hear the rest of it. But I think if somebody called a paladin the incel class, it's probably a joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
If they said cop, I'd be like, oh yeah, totally. Paladins are cops.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we are both frontline fighters. So she often tries to get into a competition going on who gets the last kill or the most kills, etc., which my lawful good paladin is never interested in. Our party was on... So she's like going for that Gimli Legolas thing. 5! I'm at 22! Our party was on a quest to retrieve a relic from the grave of a legendary paladin from my PC's order. Okay? The relic turned out to be a great sword, which you need to be lawful good, as well as have a strength of 18 or higher to carry. Okay? So it's an artifact. Sarah's character reached the sword before the rest of the party and tries to lift it, but she couldn't move it and got some damage from touching it. None of the rest of the party touched it until the wizard investigated and found that I, the paladin, was the only person in the party that could lift it. Sarah got pissed at this and said the DM had made this on the spot to humiliate her. Okay, so she wasn't joking about the incel thing. And he said he had not. Well, yeah. And it was a weapon belonging to a lawful good hero who rejected anyone with morality whose the previous owner didn't agree with. So it's an intelligent relic. She kept blaming him for making a fool out of her and ended up throwing her coffee all over him. Now we are 1 player short because the DM refuses to let her play anymore. First of all, good on that DM. I can't fucking blame him. I wouldn't let her in my house again either.
Somebody throws coffee on me. You ain't ever playing my game again.
No. I hope it was iced coffee, because if that was hot coffee, oh.
So what's the rest of it? Is that where
that's it? That's the horror story.
Well.
Oh, damn.
So, I'm going to start by saying I don't think the DM did anything wrong. Number 1, I've made items that were specifically for certain players. Because at certain levels, you kind of expect them to have a little bit of a extra magic item, and sometimes you want them to have one that fits specifically them. So you put a little extra care and a little effort, and if somebody who it's not intended for picks it up, I mean, it would make sense if it's a sentient magic item with a will of its own. Now, I've had ones that weren't, and the wrong person picked it up, and yeah, I mean, like, I don't see anything wrong here. I feel like the overreaction was strong there.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that was...
And now, I gotta say, it sounds like the original poster might kind of be a little bit of a dick themselves. Like, if the one character's trying to have friendly competition of, like, how many you killed, if you're in a fight, what's it matter? Like,
yeah.
humor them a little bit. Maybe it's something your character, like your lawful good paladin's like, we really shouldn't be doing this, but I got 10.
Yeah.
Like, make it fun. I think being like, I don't want any part of this because I'm lawful good and I'm Captain Do-Gooder. Get out of here.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of shit that gives alignment a bad rap, too.
Yeah. Because
that's not how alignment was ever meant to be used. ever.
Well, we'll save that for the alignment video.
Oh god, yeah, because I could talk about that for hours.
So could I. Michael Moorcock, man, that's where I get my alignment information.
But I think even Kralis has magic items that, they're part of the... And Kralis' alignment is a lot different than other systems. You have your devoted good, your devoted evil, then pretty much everything's just neutral.
Yeah.
But I think there's even, like, divine weapons in that, have conditions on even being able to be picked up.
Yeah, which I don't have a problem with that. I know it's like an old school thing to do, but
it also makes sense. Like, if you have the sword of a lawful good hero that was lawful good and, devotedly that way, why should a chaotic evil character be able to gain access to it?
Yeah. Or even if you don't want to use alignment, you know what your player's character has done or hasn't done. And if that weapon has a mind of its own, you could easily say, hey, this item believes in these morals. It has this personality, and your character definitely doesn't mesh with it. Like, you can avoid the scary, spooky alignment word and make it sound more feasible. But, like, let's face it. If Captain Do-Gooder went to pick up Stormbringer, he ain't going to be able to wield it.
Like, no, Stormbringer's going to be like, nope.
There are certain items that certain characters just can't lift. Because in the D&D or any type of game, there are weapons and items with their own mind and their own personality. So, yeah, I don't think that DM did anything wrong. Like I said, I feel like the Paladin was kind of a dick. Kind of, but I don't think it's his fault that she threw coffee on the DM. And if you are assaulting your DM, yeah, you definitely shouldn't be allowed back at the table.
Yeah.
At all. Alright, let's do one or two more. We'll see where we're at.
Alright, I grabbed one. Did you grab one?
Oh yeah, I have one more.
Perfect, I got another one.
And then you'll do the next one. The new DM changing classes because she thinks it's too OP. Opinions, please. This is on the D&D Circle Jerk by PM Me Your Army Picks. What a name. Opinions, please. I'm a little frustrated, and I'm not sure I should take a step back and let it happen or not. A new DM I've never played with before approved my character I created. A cleric with trickery domain. We were going over my Foundry character sheet, which I'm not too familiar with yet, and I asked her how I cast spells. She told me she won't allow me to have access to my spells because she said it's too OP. I'll be stuck with my cantrips and basic class abilities unless I pay a 50-cent microtransaction per spell level on their casting. It balances the martial caster divide.
No, what?
I'm a little frustrated because that's changing my class altogether. And she said I could just pick a martial or pay her a crisp 20 for full access to my spell list. I haven't had an opportunity to find a group online that fits my schedule, and I really want to play. Should I say/do something to communicate in any way, or should I make another Reddit post?
So first of all, they should join the Ronin's Den Discord and jump into a Legends of Kralis game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One, I really want to ask if that DM was being serious or if they were just joking and this person didn't get the joke. Because that is ridiculous.
So, by the way they ended it, or should I just make another Reddit post? Is this whole thing a joke?
Is it on Circle Jerk?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Okay. Well, Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, okay, let's pretend it's not a joke for a minute.
Yeah, let's pretend. if your DM is telling you can't access parts of your class unless you pay them, get out.
Yeah, leave.
Get out.
Hello, Winry.
Yeah. Not happening.
No.
But anyway, let's go to yours, because that's obviously a joke.
That one's obviously a joke. God, that was... But, I mean, still... Could you just imagine that? Like, that's how we can make a little bit of money on the side DMing. Like, hey, would you like that +3 sword? Please slide credit card here.
I mean, that is kind of the slippery... I'm going to say it. I support paid GMing.
So do I.
I support it. But that is the
inevitable... That's the bad place.
That's the inevitable horror stories we're eventually going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think with D&D moving to all digital in one D&D is going to end up being.
Well, it's already practically there for as far as source book access and everything like that, but that could be a whole nother episode in and of itself in its entirety. Now, I haven't read this one in its entirety yet as far as this post. Wow, I repeat words a lot once I say them once. But the title grabbed me, and that is Roleplay versus Expected Party Behavior. And this is over on the /RPG forum from Dicefell.
Okay.
I haven't read this yet, so we're going to be reading this together for the first time. This has always been a heavily divided issue for us, so I'm curious what everyone here has to say about it. Is it improper for one in-game character to strike another in-game character? So we're talking about character-on-character combat, not players. We're talking PvP, not people. All right.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I'm not talking about deadly backstabbing or cutting off an arm. I'm talking about bar arguments or discussions that earn another character a smack. Situation. I'm playing a druid in a party of 4. Another member of the party, a ranger, asked a third member of the party, a wizard, not to kill a weakened wolf near the end of the battle. Okay, that's kind of a rangery thing to do. The wolf was the only remaining foe and clearly had few hit points left. The ranger wanted to attempt to train it after healing it. Okay, I support that as a DM. The wizard ignored the request and killed the wolf. The ranger was annoyed. I'd be too. The wizard lied in character about the spell not functioning properly. My druid was annoyed by the lie. Later, in the tavern, the wizard started getting mouthy to the party. My hulking shaman of a druid decked the wizard when they, a scrawny, low-level wizard, mouthed off next to me. A simple heavy fist to their face was to warn them to shut up. Now my druid was well established as a hothead and incredibly proud. Okay, so this is expected behavior. So I felt the wizard had it coming. I agree. The player of the wizard, shocked and appalled, literally closed his book and left the game. His final message was, the party is supposed to work together, not attack one another. I am not playing with someone that's going to attack me. That's not how the game is supposed to go. Okay. My response was, Gimli and Legolas in The Lord of the Rings weren't friendly at all in the beginning, often bickering and at odds. In the Dritz books, Wulfgar and Catti-brie hits Catti-brie due to his trauma, and Bruenor has to be held back by his friends so he doesn't cave in Wulfgar's skull. Honestly, I could go on and on from books and movies where friendly heroes and comrades give each other some pretty solid blows. Dragon Ball Z. So where should the RP element of the game stop and the function element of the game take over? Is it okay for PCs to get into fisticuffs? So what I'll say about is it okay for PvP is it should be agreed upon before the game starts if there's going to be PvP. But in this situation, it doesn't even sound like damage was rolled.
No.
It sounded like it was a role-played declared hit. Like, I punch him because he mouthed off. No roll to attack, no damage, just I
Yeah.
hit the character.
So I want to highlight what that wizard said. He's like, we're the party and we're supposed to work together. Well, you completely ignored what the ranger, who might have been taking the Beastmaster subclass, was asking you to do. Like, that could have been how he got his animal companion.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to narratively do something and you just ignored it. You weren't working together with them. Like, I feel like you had a player who had main character syndrome, and then I'll say this about PvP though. I am very staunchly against PvP in my games because I've had a lot of bad experiences with PvP. And when I do have players that want to have PvP, I stop the game and I say, listen, this is what is about to happen. You two are about to fight in character. If that spreads to out of character, we're going to stop. It's going to end. We're going to end it here because I'm not going to deal with someone being butthurt because their bard lost to a paladin.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with it. And that is an incident I had at my table where the bard tried to fight the paladin and lost and then got butthurt and was mad for like 2 months. Would not stop bitching about it. It's like, if you want to fight, you set the expectation before the fight. You agree that the outcome of the fight is the outcome. We're not going to fight and bicker and bitch and moan. And then we're going to move on.
Yeah.
But like you said, this doesn't even sound like PvP.
No.
It sounds like a character was mouthing off. Somebody got fed up, clocked him one, and then that was the end of it. And then the wizard got pissed and left.
Well, and let's put it this, and let me say this too. Even if it was PvP, and the wizard took a fist worth of damage, I can't remember what a fist of damage is in 5e.
So in 5e, when you hit someone with your fist, it is 1 plus your strength modifier.
Okay, so minimal damage. If everybody's at level 4, a druid is not going to knock out a wizard on a single hit. So even if the wizard ended up taking damage, it was 1 hit. Also, that character element from this post was clearly established long before this scuffle happened. The druid is a hothead. They're known to throw fisticuffs. This is a classic example of fuck around and find out.
Yeah. And I just feel like that's an overreaction from the wizard.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking shit, someone's eventually going to get pissed, whether it's the players or the NPCs. Like, would you have reacted this way if the DM had 4 guys show up and be like, listen, shut up, or we're going to make you shut up?
Yeah.
Like, and the druid could have justified been like, listen, if you keep talking shit, we're going to get into a real fight. You'd rather have me punch you once to shut you up than fight Billy Bob and his 6 brothers over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, what? These stories, man, like some of these stories just, I don't know. It's just, it's crazy to me.
I like some of these comments too. Like the first comment, it said they quoted the "Is it improper?" and a lot of them there's these cliche like it's entirely up to the social norms of the group. This is something you should talk and work out before you begin play, or discuss in depth when it comes up. And it's like, yeah, that's true, but that wasn't the question of the article.
No.
It's
and yeah, I don't know. I just that one kind of
this person, communication tiny 132. Both you and the player of the wizard decided to act out your real life problems with each other in game instead of talking to each other in real life. If you wouldn't do it in real life to your friend, why would it be okay to do it to them in the game? Same goes for blatantly lying to your friend's requests and lying to them about it. But your friend's bad behavior doesn't excuse yours. You both owe each other an apology in real life and need to talk about expectations for the game and behavior going forward. No, this had nothing to do with in life anything. God,
No,
man.
what? I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out.
Whatever.
I'm done with that one.
No, the wizard's a dick.
Yeah.
The druid maybe could have handled it a little better, but
it was well within the character. To me,
Yeah.
what I read is that's well within the character's expected behavior. If it was anybody else, they would have done it. The fact that it happened to their character is why they're butthurt.
yeah. So, all right, yeah, that's it. We're gonna end with that good one.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one. But
yeah.
So what do we got next week?
So I'm not sure. Next week might be more reactions, or we might eventually find a guest. We did have a guest lined up, but due to some practices that we do not support on this channel, we had to cancel that interview. We're not going to go into details there, but also the 23rd we will not be doing anything. The 30th, our good friend Jim Has Fun on TikTok will be running Savage Rifts. Savage Rifts?
Savage Rifts. I am so
Savage
excited
Rifts.
for that.
And the Dragon X gets to play a motherfucking dragon.
Uh-huh.
Literally a dragon.
You get to play a Flamewind dragon. Now, I don't think you understand just how cool Flamewind dragons are. We will talk about them in between now and when the game comes up, because holy hell, these things are so awesome. But yeah, and then we also have some pretty exciting news coming up on the direction of what we're going to be doing with Ronin's Den and the future here. So definitely stay tuned. Lots of good stuff coming down the pike.
Also, April 6th, we're going to have Emily Graymore from TikTok. She is going to be appearing on the Ronin's Den. She has a pretty big following. She's a voice actress, as well as creating her own TTRPG, which we are going to highlight for her and hopefully run a one-shot to playtest for her at some point in the future. So we're really excited. We've got a lot of plans for this channel and for its growth. We're just waiting on a couple of the preliminary things before that takes off. But yeah, keep watching. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, and have a good night, everybody.